After church on a Sunday, my family loves to go eat out at the local Mexican restaurant. While we're there, we always seem to order a bowl of queso to go along with our chips. Well, that very amazing dip that everyone seems to love ties into an extremely lovable animal, goats. Queso Blanco is a soft Mexican cheese that is made by combining both cow's and goat's milk to give it that specific taste that we all know and love. Well, why does that matter? Well, goats contribute to a total economic impact of $5.8 billion to the economy, according to northernag.net. It is important to have agricultural conversations such as this because along with food and other related industries, agriculture contributed to $1.109 trillion to the economy, according to USDA.gov. Agriculture is a tremendously huge part of our lives because we all eat, wear clothes, and enjoy our sweet tea. And agriculture is a part of all of that. It is what keeps our world spinning. And also, I love to talk about goats and their various breathing methods because I'm an ag kid through and through. So I don't tend to shy away from these controversial topics such as this. So there are two different types of breeding for goats. There's natural breeding and artificial insemination. Natural breeding is whenever a doe is in heat and reproduces with a buck. Artificial insemination is when there is frozen semen from a buck. This semen is then defrosted and inserted to the cervix of a doe in heat. Both kids produced naturally and from AI act and look like normal goats. And while you might think that these breeding methods produce the same type of kid, there are definitely more advantages to the AI breeding program. There are major advantages to choosing AI. While the equipment fee might be high, the sustenance isn't. It only costs between $5 and $25 per straw of semen. This is relatively inexpensive to the costs of natural breeding. This is because with natural breeding, you have to buy bucks and feed and house them. Bucks are also harder to find than does are. Depending on how many bucks are necessary for the farm's operation, artificial insemination as a whole is cheaper, no matter the equipment cost. By avoiding the costs of housing and feeding bucks, you also save money because bucks are harder to manage than does. They eat more than does do in order to keep their energy rates high, and these high energy rates contribute to the destruction of fences and goat pens. So you are saving money by avoiding the cost of food for bucks and the cost required to repair the damages. These two things will never stop with bucks. However, the equipment fee with AI is just a one-time deal. Having a better selection of goats for breeding is another advantage to AI. With this method of breeding, you are able to choose award-winning bucks. This improves your herd because you are able to physically choose them yourself and see exactly what this animal is like, and not just on the outside portion. You are able to improve your herd through this. You are able to improve your herd through this faster than by having to wait for generations of does to improve the quality of the herd. You can get award-winning quality of kids with just 1 or 2 reproductive seasons. Also, you can choose what portion of your herd you would like to breed. Instead of releasing a buck into a pen like you would with natural breeding, you can be selective about which does you use. This would give younger does time to mature before they procreate. This allows the kids to be top quality and also have safer births. Safer births mean more kids, which means more goats. The cycle is continuous from there. You are also more likely to produce kids that have a less likely chance of contracting parasites or diseases because the process is extremely selective. You also do not have to worry about the does themselves contracting parasites or diseases because it will not actually come in contact with the buck itself. This process is much safer whenever you truly sit there and think about it. Everyone's always skeptical about AI because they believe that natural breeding methods are better because, as in the title, they're more natural. Let me play devil's advocate. There is no arguing that natural breeding has been around for an extremely long time and has worked for the most part. However, artificial insemination is just as safe and more so easier than natural breeding is. In fact, artificial insemination was adopted as a normal practice for all animals in 1956. That is 65 years of experience and growth in this field. Also, we already discussed the safety issues of parasites and diseases that can be contracted and given during the natural reproduction, and the safety concerns for the young does being chosen by the buck to reproduce. Not only is it a safe practice, but it's a relatively easy practice. Trust me, There are plenty of step-by-step tutorials on how to artificially inseminate a goat online. But whenever you start to buy the equipment and the semen itself for reproduction, they'll also teach you how to artificially inseminate the animal. And if you still don't feel comfortable with the process, just ask your local vet to come and help you. And that's honestly something that I recommend doing the first time that you're trying out the process, just to be 100% safe and sure that you're doing it right. Growing up, we always had goats. It was something that my sister and I did to earn money for college. And when the time came to make the decision between artificial insemination and natural breeding, we chose AI. It was the best decision that we ever made in our business because it saved us money in the long run. With all of that being said, a lot more goes in producing that creamy queso that we all love. Deciding which breeding practice that you're going to use in your operation is extremely important. These breeding practices contribute greatly to the creation of products exactly like queso. It takes the right breeding practice, aka artificial insemination, to create something that we all know and love. So the next time that you go into a Mexican restaurant and order a bowl of queso, remember how many steps it took to get there. Thank you.